And here we go.
We are live. Got to do the little live dance.
That's right.
Okay, fair enough.
Whoever's watching, comment. Q&A session today. Some bitches.
Yeah, if you're out there, tell us that you're out there because we can't see you.
I know it used to be able to, but I don't know why they took that away.
I thought I remembered at one time. Yeah, you could see
We could see it.
like who was watching, who wasn't. I don't know. Privacy laws and whatnot.
I guess so.
Adjust this down just a hair real quick. I didn't notice it was.
Well, while we're waiting for people to trickle, I'm gonna grab a beer.
All right, you go grab a beer.
Yeah, I could still talk and hear from out in the kitchen. That's what's nice about running the headset. Oh, damn it. Celery's in the way of my beer. What the hell is this shit?
Who the hell's putting healthy shit in front of the beer?
We got it for free, so.
Okay, well, healthy shit doesn't need to be in front of the beer.
Fair enough.
I do like the thought of somebody just joining right now and being like, why is he talking to a couch?
I was like hoping that would actually happen. Be like, wait a minute, how the fuck is he talking right now?
Yeah. I picture like a first time viewer, they've never watched the show before, and like, is this the thing? He talks to that couch?
Hi, Scout. Hi. What are you doing? Casey, who's this Amish guy talking to this couch?
This guy gets it.
The fuck did you get all wound up for? Huh?
Yeah, because you talk to
Stinker. A stinker. Huh? What are you doing?
I'm assuming I'm the Amish guy with the "Don't Tread on Me" flag behind me.
Well, he said guy talking to this couch, so.
Fair enough.
Hi, Scout. Come here. Come here, Scout. You want to get in the show? No, you bitch.
Hey.
Fluffy Luffy.
That's the thing. You could just point the camera at her and just keep talking.
Yeah, well, she will not hold still for very long.
Oh no, neither will mine.
Hi, Scout. Say I don't want to hold still. Huh, baby.
That's why there's only like, if you go and look at the not live videos, just the regular videos, that's why there's only like one where my dogs are in it.
Right.
Should we do our very important starting quote?
Sure. We don't have any questions to answer at the moment.
I mean, that guy did ask who the Amish guy talking to the couch is. I guess we could discuss that for another 15, 20 minutes.
15 minutes or so.
We could probably stretch it out. 15, 20 minutes. I got one. I got a quote here from Chris Kyle. You may have heard of him.
Wow.
It's short. It's pretty simple. And if you don't understand it, I don't know what to tell you. It's just the media cause more problems than they do good. You may use DeWalt. We don't know. We try not to judge people on their tool usages, but DeWalt people need to be judged.
In case anybody wonders why that mutes me, because my microphone is excessively loud, even in my own ears. I have yet to figure out how to turn that down.
You have to plug it into the computer.
It is.
Yeah, you gotta
put my USB-C into it.
Yeah, and then you gotta do it that way. That's what I had to do with mine. Because it is excessively loud.
It is right now, but when it's on my Xbox, it's not too bad because there's all the other shit going on, explosions and gunfire and shit.
I forget what it's called. There's like that mode on there where you can hear yourself. And you could hear like shit going on 2 houses down on mine.
Yeah, there's modes on here. The problem is I think these ones on this headset though are only like it's only like standard bass boost, bass and treble boost, and then like voice boost or some shit.
I think that's the one, that voice boost or whatever is the one you got to turn off.
Oh, it's off, I think.
Oh, that's wild. I can hear that beeping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the bass boost right now, which is what it should be saved for, so because it sounds good on video games.
I bet it does.
Yes, this is my video game headset, everyone. It helps me hear a lot better, and you guys could probably hear me pretty well too, so.
I think, yeah. Can't say much. I used to use mine.
You have the Gen 1.
This is for my PS4. My other one's wireless.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes, I have both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox.
I used to have the PlayStation 4 until it started acting like a tart on bath salts.
That's what my Xbox is doing now. It's on the bubble.
Dude, I like, it worked. And then it was unplugged for a while because I moved into this place from my old place. And I plugged it back in, dude. It was just fucked. It was off for like 2 months and unplugged, but dude, nothing worked. I mean, absolutely nothing worked. It would just crash every time I tried to turn it on. It needed updates. It would crash in the middle of the updates, and I was just like, all right, I'm done with this fucking thing.
Interesting.
You'll probably hear my dogs fighting upstairs now.
Let's all listen really closely.
Of course, yes. Now they're being quiet.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go ahead with your quote, and I'll mute myself so there's no interference.
I already did the quote. You weren't paying attention.
Oh, did not know I wasn't. You're right. People, are you watching?
It's the media causes more problems than they do good.
Oh, I thought you were just stating something. I didn't know that was the actual quote.
Well, no, I think he was stating something.
Well, yeah, obviously. Ugh. I'll play songs. I can't hear it.
You muted yourself, so now nobody can hear it.
I did it on purpose for the moment.
Oh. Well, this is a Q&A. Oh, you can probably hear my dogs barking now. This is a Q&A session, so submit your questions. We will answer them. Caleb isn't here. That's why there's no third window, because I don't know, he's got explosive diarrhea or something. And Jay is currently muted. Oh, wait.
All right, I'm back. I'm just tuning it, so nobody really needs to hear that.
Oh.
Angie's here. Oh boy.
That's not a question, though. That's a statement. Angie must have just joined us.
Yeah.
We've been here a whole 9 minutes and she hasn't said anything ridiculous. Angie, ask us questions. You comment like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, ask questions.
This is the fun part where now we stare at the screen and wait for things to happen. It'd probably work better if we had more than 4 viewers. How was our weeks? Not great. Next one.
Yeah, literally not great whatsoever. I guess if you want to know more about my week, I could show you this. I mean, this is good. So I could show this. So that is my child from the ultrasound today. The gender is known, but not by me or my wife. It is known by her best friend and fiance. So we are, could prepare for the gender reveal.
You're not gonna be that guy, are you?
What?
You're gonna do what? You're gonna be one of those guys?
It wasn't my decision. It was a wife's choice.
Fair enough. Probably best not to argue with her.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. But I could. There's an opportunity. I could be back in a commercial soon. I guess since everybody's kind of asking about it. So yes, I was primarily doing residential. I was actually working for a really good place just right over the hill from me and stuff like that. But it was a company that switched from home warranty work to retail work, and business faded quick. So just this week, some steep budget cuts came through, and I was one of like 4 people who got cut. So I'm trying to move forward with my life now. Fair enough. I may be back into commercial soon.
Yeah. Didn't quite
get. Send me a private message who Casey actually is.
That's his name.
Yeah, but who is he actually? You know?
His last name I don't remember.
The only reason I'm asking Casey is because I can't put a finger on who you are exactly. No offense. I know you're always in here and stuff. I was just trying to put a face to your name, but
yeah.
What I could tell you, Casey, I don't know where you live, buddy.
I want to say he lives in Kansas, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
But one thing up here is just reason I'm probably going to go back to. I'm trying to go back to doing commercial work for hospitals. Because the swing of the weather around here has decimated the residential market. I mean, I'm talking the weather has been mild since like the second week of August. So it obviously hasn't done me well. So nothing against it or anything like that. It's just, be careful. That's all, buddy. I guess it depends on what kind of commercial work you do too.
Trying to see here. Trying. That's okay. Yeah. Here is his name. There you go.
Okay. That's who I kind of remember the full name now. Sorry, buddy. I'm bad with names, so don't take it the wrong way.
Followed us over from Shop Talk, I believe. He's one of Zach's loyal followers. He said it's cool. Yeah, I'm bad with names too. Certain things I can remember really good, Casey, and other things I'm surprised I remembered your name well enough to be able to find it on Instagram. Because usually I forget people's names as they tell me their name. But I can remember Kansas because of the KC in Kansas City.
Well, Well, Kansas City's in Missouri.
Yeah, but KC is like Kansas City.
Gotcha. So he's in Kansas, not Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. So isn't that where Kelly McKay's from too? I think isn't he from Kansas?
I think so.
That's what I want to
He's
say.
Kansas. Is it Kansas?
He's either Kansas
somewhere
or Kansas
right
City. I want to say he's from like Kansas.
Yeah, what's the name of that town he's from?
Let me see if it's on his Facebook. I don't mean to throw Kelly on the spot, but
that's all right. I don't think he watches the show.
Probably not.
It's something.
Augusta.
Like...
Augusta,
Georgia?
Kansas. Augusta, Kansas.
I thought it was like McCall or something like that.
That's what's listed on the Facebook anyway.
That might be where like his
Kelly, if you do watch this, add me on Facebook, you bastard.
Might be where his office is in a different town, you know. Kansas is probably like here. There's 8,000 tiny ass freaking one-light towns. I don't keep up with any of those dudes anymore. Every once in a while, I'll hear from Gil.
Yeah, I mean, I have. I don't even know if I have Gil on Facebook yet, but I know I have Brian Lee on there, and
yeah,
one or two maybe other people. But it's been a while.
Even there was like 4 Brians, wasn't there?
I don't even remember. There was.
I think they got a discount on Brian's.
Yeah. But I don't know. I haven't been in the loop with a lot of that for quite a long time. It was it was fun, but it was a lot of fucking work.
It became work very quickly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Casey, if you got any questions about, residential, fire away, buddy.
If you got any questions about anything, we'll answer all your questions.
Yeah, really, you could probably ask what size my dick is, and I'd probably answer.
He probably would. I've been to the man's house. I'm pretty sure there's a tape measure right under the table he's sitting in front of.
There probably is somewhere. It's probably buried by gun parts right now.
I mean, not gun parts, because YouTube doesn't like that.
Airsoft gun parts.
Paintball guns.
That one's for you, Nick.
My shit's in the way. Yeah, I do commercial only. I like it personally.
I think for what you do, I would like what you do.
Commercially. Yeah, everything.
Not what I used to do, like for when I worked for the Lennox, but like what you do, I would like. But there's not a big market for that here.
Yeah, everything from mini splits to wall hung barred units to package units to chillers, all kinds of stuff, boilers. You get a little mix of everything. It's pretty fun. Every day is a little different. You're kind of never really working on the same thing twice. We'll do work on, like we take care of the light rail, some of the light rail stuff up here. So we'll work on like the cabinet coolers that cool the stuff that works the signal houses and the crossing houses, and then we'll work on like things that work the ticket count, the ticket machines and all kinds of stuff. So it's all a little bit different. Some of it's annoying, frustrating. I don't really like doing the light rail stuff because
or those Lochinvar boilers.
Yeah.
There's fucking trash.
I've got a place that's got 2 of them.
Yeah, I know. We had a discussion about them.
They're redundant, and it's great because they both go into alarm at the same time.
Yeah.
When they go into alarm, I'm like, perfect. Good thing we put 2 of them in. Now I get to reset 2 of them and inspect them for what stupid thing caused them to trip.
Angie, I do not have one, but I have a close friend who has one that I use all the time to burn shit. So
I have a fire pit and a fireplace. Technically, the fireplace is a wood stove, but you get the idea. It's actually what I was doing before the show, was cutting firewood for the winter.
Well, I could really tell you going to residential, Casey, is just watch who you get in bed with. Because there's a lot of companies. I don't know if it's the same over that way as it is this way, but there's companies that'll like run you from like fucking 7 a.m. till like midnight all summer, and then as soon as like fucking, it gets closer to winter, like fall and spring, they'll like fucking lay you off and shit.
Yeah, well, that's the place when I did residential that I was working for, and then I went to a place kind of like when you were at Lennox, where it's just retail packaging. It's day in and day out, and
yeah, it sucks.
That sucks.
After a while, it sucks. Once you start, you could only deal with so many fucking Yorks.
Oh, yeah.
30-year-old Voyagers that have been fucking neglected. Left alone for all 30 years.
Yeah, well, shiesty managers and.
Mm-hmm. But then again, I mean, you get shiesty homeowners too, so.
Yeah.
I had a fucking doctor. He's a doctor in an emergency room at a hospital nearby here, and his wife was like head RN and stuff like that. Or not emergency room, he's ICU, but his wife was head RN and stuff like that, and he tried to stiff me for a capacitor. What do you mean by not sure if you can do it? Like, clarify. I'm just trying to help you out, so give you some information, buddy. Kind of let you know what you're walking into. Because I'm sure where you are, your climate is kind of probably a lot like ours. It's more temperate.
I don't know. I try not to think about Kansas.
I was like, I can hear something from upstairs, and here it's the fucking bathroom fan coming through my fucking microphone.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. I know, kind of going back to the retail commercial, doing like retail stuff. Some of those places, man, I mean, you get freaking stupid ass you get just stupid ass like managers and stuff like that. I think I was telling you the other day about the guy that owns the chain of sandwich shops.
Probably.
Did I tell you that one?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's a good story. We can tell that real quick. Probably do that in about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, you tell that, and then we'll get to his comment.
Yeah. Yeah, Casey, you just keep feeding us information when I get done with this. Yeah,
really.
Feed. Yes.
Be my spoon. Feed me.
It's pretty kinky. Go on. That's it. All right. Yeah, so I was working at a place that did retail establishments and was on call for Thanksgiving. And took the on call, all that stuff. Well, this was, I think, the first year that this company was going to close for the Friday after Thanksgiving as well. And I'm sitting at the house. That story now. I did tell you. Okay. I'm sitting at the house. It's middle of the day or so, and I get a call for this guy that owns these sandwich shops, and I tell him, hey, before we get too far into this, I just want to go ahead and let you know that because of the holiday, the office is closed, so you're going to be on overtime, and this is how much it costs to come out on overtime. And he says, well, yeah, I got people in the sandwich shop that are complaining that it's hot. Go ahead and come out. I said, okay. I said, not a problem. Give me a couple minutes and I'll be on the road. I was out in the yard doing something. Basically, all I had to do was just go inside and change my shirt real quick. I go inside, change my shirt. I'm walking out of the house, and he calls me up and calls me on call line again. And he goes, well, I was thinking about something that you said, and today's not a holiday. And I was like, okay. I was like, the office is still closed, still overtime. And he goes, well, what holiday is today? And I was like, they're closed for Thanksgiving. And he starts, to play like this semantics game with me of Thanksgiving was yesterday. Today's not Thanksgiving anymore. I said, look, man, we sit here and argue about this all day long. Whether Thanksgiving was yesterday, whatever, I'm like, the office is closed today. Anytime the office is closed, it's overtime. So you either pay that rate and I come out today, or you have to wait until Monday to get the normal rate of whatever. So he goes, no. I'll wait. And you guys can come out on Monday. I said, okay, fine. Next Friday comes around. So I actually rotate back off of call, and I get called into the office, and the owner is telling me that I lied to a customer. And I'm like, what do you mean I lied to a customer? And he goes on to explain this whole thing about lying to this guy about Friday being a holiday. And I said, well, first of all, we were closed on Friday because of Thanksgiving. And he says, yes. And I said, okay. I said, so how did I lie to him? And he goes, well, you told him Friday was Thanksgiving. I said, no. I said, we were closed because of Thanksgiving. I didn't say Thursday or Friday or Wednesday. I never said what day Thanksgiving was, just that we were closed because of Thanksgiving. I said, second of all, the first time I went on call, you guys told me anytime the office is closed, you're on overtime. Is that not true? And they go, well, yeah, that's true. Anytime the office is closed, you're on overtime. I said, so where's the lie then? I was like, he's what, pissed off that I told him what? That he was going to have to pay an overtime rate. And, they really didn't have an answer for that. And so the solution was, well, in the future, just don't tell anybody any prices. I said, well, then I said, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't at that point. Because the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be out there for 6 hours doing something. He's going to get charged all this money. And then he's going to call in and he's going to say, well, nobody ever told me that it was overtime rate. And you're going to be bitching at me because I tried to screw over some customer on, charging them time and a half or whatever. So, they kind of tried to pin that on me, and I told them to fuck off. And I walked outside, and I was, I was pretty pissed off about it. And I was talking to another guy that worked there, and right about the time that I'm kind of starting to calm down from this whole situation, from being so angry, another guy comes out and he goes, oh, well, I'm going out to that customer that called in last week, and they told me not to tell him to go fuck himself and the horse that he rode in on. And I'm telling you, I've never come so close to hitting a coworker in my entire life. And I mean, yelling mad and like screaming and throwing, like I'm packing up my tools basically at this point. And this other coworker that I was talking to originally, he comes over and he's like, look, he's like, stop. He's like, don't do this. He's like, you got the holidays coming up and stuff like that. He's like, you need your job right now. And he kind of talked me down off the ledge. And I had to thank him for that and buy him lunch, the next week. But I was like, I was fully ready to call my wife and be like, come pick me up. I'm not working for this place.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So I heard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've been over that situation.
Yeah.
Turns out it was whether that piece of paper got signed or didn't, it didn't matter anyway. But so yeah,
I wouldn't have signed it.
I still didn't.
I would have told him, "Fuck you," and the horse you rode in on. As is my style, apparently.
Pretty sure one of my last words is like, "Fuck you," I'm not signing that. But so yeah, I get what you're saying there, Casey. That is a lot of residential companies. Unfortunately, that's just kind of the nature of it. In the past year or two, it has shifted a little bit. Companies are a little bit more forgiving than they used to be. I think it's more now just because of the hunger of needing people and the lack of people going into trades is finally starting to catch up. But there still are a lot of companies.
Keep people happy.
Yeah, there still are a lot of companies doing that, and that's unfortunately how it is a lot of times. Either you're. I understand what you're saying. It's easier work and getting older, tired of climbing up on ladders all day on a hot roof. Trust me, I get it. Been there, done it. But at the same time, too, in a lot of cases, what you're going to run into with residential companies, yes, each call will be easier, but the problem is instead of running like 2 calls a day or something like that, because you're doing, a commercial job, you're going to run like fucking 12 calls a day and you're going to be dead from just running so fast and so hard. You don't have time to stop and eat and this and that. So, I mean,
or you're getting your lunch at a gas station.
Yeah. You grab your food from like fucking McDonald's or something. You're eating it as you're flying down the road, trying to get to your next one, so you don't get home at fucking 8:00 at night.
Or then you still get home at 8:00.
Yeah, exactly.
That's been my experience.
So I mean this place I was just at, was good when business was good, but when business was not good, well, things are not good. So. Well, if you like commercial work and you want something easier, maybe look at like like what I'm gonna probably start doing again, and what I have done in the past. Yeah, building maintenance for like hospitals, because I mean, job security, and use what to help out there, and you're not gonna get murdered, and yeah, I did that for a while, and probably going back to doing so unless some other things come along. But that's there are disadvantages to that, because you're gonna lose your company vehicle and stuff. But at the same time, you're probably gonna work Monday through Friday, fucking 7 to 3 or something like that, and be home for at least most of your nights and weekends and holidays. I mean, when I worked there, we had some different shifts to cover, but it was like pretty much once a month I would either work like one weekend, or I'd work like a 3 to 11 week, and then we'd all split up the holidays and stuff like that. So you'd probably get like one holiday a year or something like that. So it's still better than it's definitely better than residential. When a lot of those hospitals, because hospitals now are at least around here, most of them now are corporate entities, and I know all the ones around here even some of the ones I actually just put in for today, the pay can be really good. The both of the 3 of the jobs I just put in for today, the top rate is like $42 an hour. So, and the minimum's still like, I think 28 or something like that. So, you even if you start at bare minimum nothing, like, you're still making good money, and you're not murdering yourself. Something to think about.
That's one advantage. One of the things I really like about my company is it's kind of like what you're talking about,
Yeah,
for the most part, it's
what
7 to 3.
Yeah, you guys have a good deal with everything that you guys are doing, because all that stuff is, really essential. There's almost there's going to be slower seasons, but
like right now,
there's always going to be a demand.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like overtime getting right now. Just because even some of the stuff that we're working on is not, breaking as much. We're getting more of that stuff that's kind of sort of cruising along right now. But
yeah,
it's North Carolina. The weather could change next week.
Yep. But versus with residential, you're going to have huge swings. I mean, it's just nature of it. I don't know how your weather is compared to mine, Casey. You could speak on that more. I live in Pennsylvania, so you tell me. But having the 4 seasons, spring and fall are like hard times, and obviously I just ran into that. Times got too hard, and Big Brother said, something's got to give. So, you could easily be working 80 hours a week in the summer, in the winter, and in the dead of winter, but in those shoulder seasons, you can not be working for 3 weeks, 4 weeks at a time.
His weather's about like mine.
So,
just from a quick Google search,
over his weather's like yours.
Yeah, just from like a quick cursory Google search, not doing any cities or anything like that.
Yeah, so Casey, you're probably gonna have some.
You're gonna have some wicked summers in residential.
You're gonna have some really bad summers of working probably 80 hours a week, and you're probably going to not make any money all winter, realistically.
No, I think he gets a little more winter than I do. Where's that?
Yeah.
I got to keep like going between 2 pages here.
Yeah, I mean, if it, I don't know what you guys winters get like, Casey, but if you're like Nick's,
yeah, his.
If it's like down there in North Carolina, there's a really.
There we go.
But there's a really like weird lead up to it or whatever. Why did that?
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's kind of like it's kind of a slow build, but like December and January and February hit, and it fucking kicks in hardcore.
It's like, it will get cold and you'll stay busy, but you have to think, Casey, you're in betweens when it's not scalding hot anymore, and it's only like 60 to 70 degrees outside. There's going to be nothing.
Yeah, see, like nothing. What I'm looking at here. So this is a lot like North Carolina. September, the average high, 82. October, 70. November, 54. And then December, that's when the cold really starts to set in.
So
because even the lows, low for November is only 34, according to the graph that I'm looking at.
So what you're going to be looking at, buddy, is that
you
October,
get 3
November,
months of winter and
that
basically 6 months of summer.
October, November, you're going to be like going to be dead slow.
Well, and the problem is you're going to be doing heat maintenances. In my experience, you're going to be doing heat maintenances for like October, November, then December, January, and February. You're not going to have shit to do because it just doesn't run long enough to really break the heat.
Yeah. So I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of struggle bus in there, buddy. To be honest, the ways that are going to be to avoid that is like, okay, you have a company that's big enough that could stay busy during those times, but the problem is, if that company's busy enough and residential to stay busy during those times, during the peak times, you're not going to have a life at all. You're going to be your life is going to be in your van. Well, I'm not knocking residential. You know, it's just you got to be careful with who you get with.
Yeah, definitely get on that. If you're gonna do that, get on in the springtime and save every dollar you can in the summer.
Yeah, because winter's probably gonna kill you.
And going back to the place that you just left for a minute, they did some really odd stuff in my opinion.
Yeah, there was a lot of really odd things they did. I mean, they did definitely do some great things to try to take care of us and keep us from getting burned out and destroyed, but there were a lot of bad decisions too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, me and Nick
seemed like they hired a lot of people on really quick.
Yeah, me and Nick aren't business experts by any means, but there was
a lot of means, but
there was a lot of glowing things where it was like, okay, it doesn't take much to figure this out. And there was, even when we were discussing that thing about the installs, there was the answer for the problem. The answer for the problem was right in front of their face, and they were like, yeah, we got to figure it out. The problem was literally being presented to them. I don't really care if they see this or not. I don't really give a fuck anymore. So the thing that they were doing,
we kept names out of it. So
yeah, we kept company names out of it, but financial institution names are going to be mentioned, but they are not going to be slandered in any way, shape, or form, because the financial institutions were just doing their job. They were financing people. So this isn't by no means anything against these financial institutions that will be mentioned.
They're fine establishments, all of them, truthfully.
Yeah. Are every one of them across the board.
All of them. But the lawyers in the other room are telling me that they're all great.
Okay, we don't have to worry then. So, but one of the things the company did, it was for people, something to help motivate people to replace equipment that probably should, and
it was an incentive.
And to help like with the cost of it and such, because I mean, let's face it, the fucking cost of everything now is fucking 3 times what it was 5 years ago.
I mean, we talk about refrigerant a lot, but equipment went up overnight too.
Yeah, I mean, equipment was like,
by what, like 40%?
It used to be like what, like for a cold pack was like $1,000 or so. Up here, it's like $3,000. You know what I mean? It went high. You know what I mean? So it skyrocketed. But so one thing they were doing to help people was they were offering 6 years, which is 72 months of 0% interest financing if you got approved.
That's for the people bad at math. 6 times 12, 72.
Yeah. So they were offering that for people who got approved for the loan amount like that they needed. You know, obviously it could say they were approved for $30,000, and if they only needed 15 or whatever, you know, obviously it's fine. But, you know, whatever. So they were offering that to the people, but the problem is they were not. Sorry, it was my phone, but those people were not getting. Nobody was getting approved at 0% interest. The minimum interest rate through this company, which I'm going to leave them out of it because I don't think I mentioned them yet. But
talking about the finance people?
Yeah.
You have not.
Okay. I mean, I guess I could say, I mean, it was Wells Fargo. I mean, like I said, I'm not beating up Wells Fargo whatsoever. I mean, I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't know why they are, what they do for this or that. I don't know. It's not my business. I'm not a finance person. But I think the minimum we were getting for interest rates on people was like 14 or 15%. And so in order to give the customers the 0%, the company was paying that interest. And I had actually saw somebody who got approved for a loan, but the interest rate was like 29% over 6 years. And the company had to pay that 29% interest on that equipment install. And I'm like, that's eating into the profit of that system, one, straight off the bat, but then two, it's cutting into the company's money for the next 6 years, because that's how long the term is for. And so just the other day, before things got a little weird, we had a guy in from Service Finance, they're called, and he was showing us all their loan programs and everything. And our GM had stated, that the Service Finance,
is that APR, 28%
yes.
APR.
Yes.
So that would mean if the customer took a $10,000 loan,
which I think that one was about that,
for 6 years, and took the entire 6 years to pay it back, which if you're doing 0% interest, there's no real reason that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
The company would end up paying $9,369.01 by the end of that loan.
For a $10,000.
So you charge them $10,000, and
so
then
literally
paid them $9,000.
Yeah, so literally they lost everything. Every install that did financing was lost. Was a total loss. And that's not including equipment costs, which we've already discussed. On that one, I think me and Nick talked, was, given what I know about the cost, wasn't super high, but it was probably like 20 to
I think didn't we say like about $2,500?
Yeah, it was like between 22 $2,500, and then that was not including some of the extra shit. But so anyway, so yeah, so there was that. And so they're like, well, somebody was like, well, why do we still use them? And he's like, well, we're looking into that because they're like, Service Finance charges you so much less. Why are we still using Wells Fargo? And he's like, well, we're looking into that. And I threw away the paper because, well, I have no need to know it anymore. But I'm looking at it. I went on Service Finance, and I did all the different loans and everything to figure out the stipulations for them all so I could study them, and which was a waste of my life. But so
yeah, but you're a better person for it.
Yeah, exactly. But so I'm like looking at this. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, but the answer is in front of your face. You're paying, say on average, you're paying 20% over 6 years. Well, they have an option here where they finance somebody for 3 years, which is 36 months, at 13.99. That's it. That's the interest rate. Done. There is no like, oh, well, you have this credit score. This is no. They have fixed interest rates based upon what loan you would take out.
It's just basically flat rate.
Yeah. And so
I think, I'm like, there's a company around here that does something similar. And if I remember correctly, isn't it your interest rate is based on how much money you take out, isn't it? I think it goes like down if you take out more money. Because isn't that one of those places that you can like finance like a service call? Well, not like a service call.
They could do that, but everything was different based upon what loan it was, pretty much.
Gotcha.
So there was like 9 different loans, because of different price ranges, different terms, different APRs,
right?
This, that, all that bullshit. It was a really good setup. I will give a plug for Service Finance for that. Not only was the app really good setup and everything, and the presentation of everything really good, but they had some really good options. So give them a little bit of a thumbs up anyway.
Well, at 13, what did you say it was? 13.9.
So at 13.99, even if you gave the customer that 0%, but now it's only 3 years, and it's just a hair over 6% less. So you have
3 years.
You have 6% less interest and half the term length. I'm like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but that's your solution right there. Boom,
So
done.
a
I don't.
$15,000 loan over 6 years at 20% was a hair under $10,000. A $15,000 loan at 3 years at 13.9% is $3,000.
Yeah, that's what we were like. We didn't even crunch numbers until actually just now, but it's like the answer's sitting right there. You're looking at it. It's in front of your face. And a great thing about that 3-year term at 13.99, that was just if they didn't pay it off in the first year, because they had 12 months to pay it off interest free, same as cash. So
it's really only 2 years.
yeah, it's only really at 2 years at 13.99.
That's
So
$2,129. So you're saving roughly $8,000.
yeah, and so I was like, I'm sorry, but the solution's there. And
Well,
so
and I don't understand, like, I don't know who was in charge. I didn't work there or anything like that, but I don't understand, like, who sat back and looked at this and then signed off on, yeah, we'll pay 28% interest on your loan for 6 years, and said, that's a great idea. Because I understand getting customers in, but
I don't know
like,
whose
where's the
decision it
check
was.
and balance to because somebody should have sat back and said, that's stupid. No, we're not doing that.
I think it could have been something that came from the parent company because they may do it nationwide. I don't know. But either way, it's not smart business. Plain and simple.
No, and
On top of other things that me and Nick had already discussed, like
yeah, I mean, that was just one of them that
we
it
had
seemed like they expanded their technicians like
too fast,
extremely quickly for a amount of
and
people that they didn't have.
that's not including how quickly they expanded office personnel, because we were talking about that too. Because then
Yeah.
one day, 2 people got let go randomly, and because of budgeting problems, and one of which, okay, we kind of get it. The other one, we were like, that's probably going to cause us some trouble. But okay, it happened. Nothing we could do at this point. But then it's like right after that, they hire another dispatcher when we have 4 dispatchers and a dispatch manager. So now we're up to 5 dispatchers and a dispatch manager for phones that aren't ringing. And then now we have a warehouse manager to manage parts and everything in the warehouse, I guess, which again, we're not busy. So there was just so many weird moves that were, I wasn't sure why, just why that happened.
Well, and that was one of the problems that I had when I did residential too, was I worked for a company and there's no calls coming in. Everybody's sitting at home, but there's 5 people sitting in the office. And, you ask them about that and they go, well, we have to be here to answer the phone. Yeah, but the phone's not ringing. Like, in
Let
the
me
summertime, I understand it takes 5 of you to answer the phone because all 5 lines are ringing.
I'm going to do some math for you, and I'll give you exactly how many people were sitting in the office while many of us were struggling for full-time hours. But, so you can continue.
That was my biggest, one of my biggest things was, if the phone's not ringing, it doesn't take 5 of you to answer a phone line that's not ringing. And I looked up the parent company and found their branch here in North Carolina, and I don't see anything on there about advertising like 0% financing or anything like that. So I think that's just management on your end that just failed.
You're going to be alarmed at this list of people who were sitting in the office while we were sitting at home.
Let's see. I think there's more than one of those. What is the name of
what one that I worked under?
No.
Oh.
No, I know that one. Okay. There's more than one company that's under that parent company in this area. Let's see, I'll look up the place that you worked at.
The parent company?
No.
Or the actual place?
Yeah. No, we're not going to say the name.
It should show up in Bethel Park, so.
It says Pittsburgh.
Okay, they must change the address finally.
Let's see. The other one was right up top here. Oh, here we go. Let's see. I'm looking here. Yeah, I am not seeing anything that says anything about any kind of advertised 0% financing or anything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Just seems really dumb. Like I said, I don't understand why there wasn't some sort of check and balance there to go, hey, this is dumb. Let's see, is it under offers? What's under offers? No, that's just how much it costs to have the AC unit tuned up.
There was 25 people sitting at the shop full time while the rest of us were struggling hours. That I know of. I may have missed some. That's just the people I know about. Because there was plenty of people I didn't know. So you have 25 people working 40 hours a week, and we can't keep 8 technicians busy. So, and some of those people were making a shitload of money. Some not, some are.
Well, and your particular company, they have, dispatcher that dispatches for this and dispatcher that dispatches for that and this, that, and the other thing. And then they've got the dispatch manager and stuff. And it's like, it's almost like, it's almost like a fast food job where everybody's a manager of something. And it's like, well, we can't all be managers. Somebody has to be in charge. But nobody truthfully knows who's in charge and who isn't. I have no idea where he went. May have gone upstairs and is going to the bathroom. If he was on his phone, he probably would have.
I just didn't want everybody to hear me pissing.
Yeah, well, if you were on your phone, you would have just taken your phone like you've done many other times on live streams.
Yes. There's actually 26 people. I forgot one. Install manager. So you have install manager, service manager. You have a plumbing manager, plus a secretary scheduling. Electrical manager. Don't know if there was somebody scheduling for them or not. I don't know. I didn't know much about them. Didn't even really meet a lot of them. And then you had the IT guy, a GM, another manager above him, which I don't know what his title was. The lady scheduling installs. Yeah, there was a lady to just schedule installs. The install manager, 2 salesmen, 6 people in dispatch total, including the dispatch manager.
The salesmen need to get their asses out there and fucking sell some shit.
3 mechanics, vehicle mechanics, warehouse manager plus a helper, 2 parts runners.
Which I didn't get that. It didn't seem like you guys. Well, maybe.
What? Right. No, please
enlighten. The vehicle manager thing, or the vehicle mechanic.
Sometimes.
I mean, you guys got enough stuff to keep 2 mechanics busy for 40 hours?
3. Probably. We have enough stuff, but the problem is they didn't do anything with the machinery. They just did it with the vehicles. They weren't touching the excavators. They weren't touching the bobcats.
That's what I was wondering.
So, for you guys that don't know, is they did a lot of stuff digging in the ground and everything too. So we had really big excavators and some smaller front loaders and stuff for loading stone and things like that, and a bunch of bobcats and things like that. So we had a lot of diesel machinery as well on top of all the vehicles. And so I saw dead weight in many other places. And there's actually 2 young parts runners, and I forgot about the older one. So I guess that's 27 people.
Parts runners to run parts out that aren't being sold.
Yeah. And when he wasn't doing parts, he was just scrapping shit.
And don't take us the wrong way either. We're not saying that, you know.
Some of that stuff is a necessity, but you have to have the business for that shit to be a necessity.
Well, and the other side of it too is we're not saying that those people are, you know, should have a job any less than, you know, we have a job, or, you know, should get.
No, it's just that
less than 40 hours or anything like that. But I mean,
the money makers were the ones getting shit on when there was a lot of people sitting around doing nothing, collecting paychecks.
There's a lot of parasitic financial load.
Yeah, there really was.
You know, and it's a matter of 2. So how many technicians did they get rid of? I think they're up to what, like 4 now.
We had 8 at the peak. There's down to like 5, I think now, because then they had to get rid
so they got rid of 3.
They had to get rid of some installers too. They're like, and they didn't get rid of like, they didn't get rid of like, you know, 3 or 4 flunky helpers. They cut all us big guys off. They cut they were cutting senior techs, senior installers, like their oldest, longest tenured employees, or their, you know, most experienced employees were getting cut off. I would think that it would be better to have, you know, 20 highly experienced employees versus 80 inexperienced employees.
Yeah, I mean, give some people in the office, you know, an extra day off a week or something, or
yeah,
you know.
I mean, if they're that much dead weight, fuck, cut their salary. I'm sorry, but if you're just sitting there, you know, doing the books, you don't need to make $60,000 a year.
Well, they had to go to college for that.
So, I mean, you know, as for you, Casey, you know, I certainly don't want to turn you away from residential, but I'm pretty sour with it at this point.
Yeah, and, I don't think either one of us has had very positive experiences with
it. No, and I think at this point I'm done with it. I do have a residential guy that I'm going to be talking to, but I know of his business and his reputation, and his business is extremely strong. So, because his business, he just did everything the right way and everything like that, and his business actually pushed out a few assholes in the area because they were like, well, you're an asshole. He's not, you know, yes, he's a little bit more money, but he's taken care of. And so they drifted away from the cheap assholes, and, you know, the cheap assholes kind of just faded off. And so I'm going to at least, you know, hear it out, but I don't know if I'm going to make it back to residential.
I mean, worst case scenario, you go in there, you talk to him, you know, you hear what he's got to say, and you say, you know,
that's the thing, you know, and he's a personal friend of my father too, so.
Yeah.
But my father's done a lot of electrical stuff for them over the past 3 decades.
Well, we're pushing up over an hour here, so
yeah.
Any comments you want to highlight?
Anybody want to throw in anything last minute?
Yeah, last call for questions. And I'll let you decide if there's any comments. That is the look of a man deep in thought.
I'm just scrolling through some stuff because I know your dad joined, and I just wanted to see what he was saying because we've been kind of just ranting about some things. Oh, goddamn. I don't know if I could say that. YouTube might get mad, but oh well.
What's up?
God damn it.
Oh, no, they don't care about blasphemy. Just guns.
Okay, cool.
Guns and Alex Jones, but I think Alex Jones is
let's highlight your dad's 935.
935.
He's literally in between the KCs.
Yep.
Yeah, so, obviously Casey, if you're looking, you can, see there he had kind of the same thing, but they tried to do it at least the right way and let them know what the hell was going to happen before they went out there because, those rates a lot of time will deter people. So, if you're good enough or the company's set up right, you could save yourself a lot of hassle. But if your company's, only after 5 o'clock, instead of, let's say, being $99 is $150, then people are still going to drive you up the fucking wall. So,
well, and one thing that he didn't say in there too is that was refrigeration. So kind of like what I've got going on where I work now is we're leveraging industry. We're not leveraging, some homeowner, so we can actually really charge more. And the whole idea behind that is you want to reserve it for the people that actually need you to come out and fix something. Because you don't want to be in the middle of this on some bullshit thing that, whatever, working on that when, some hospital or some power plant or some, pharmaceutical processor calls in and they're like, we need it right now. So that's the idea behind that. I was going to say something else about that too.
I have something we could touch on too about financial stresses with the previous place I had worked.
Yeah, go
another
ahead.
thing too was I'm gonna hit on actually quite a few aspects of this because me and Nick discussed this too. When I first started there, I understand the reasoning of it, but there wasn't enough protection built into the company for it. They were running a free diagnostic fee, and so there was actually no stipulations to it either. It was literally like, we'll come out, tell you what's wrong, and give you a price to fix it for free. And that just ran into a heap of problems. I mean, if I had they structured to give you like about 4 calls or so a day, maybe 5 at worst. Meaning just so it gives us time to just do everything thoroughly and everything like that, which I thoroughly enjoyed it and is kind of rare.
Full picture diagnostics.
Yeah, our buddy Chris from HVACR videos will tell you, big picture.
Is it full picture?
Big picture.
Or big picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big picture.
There's a little plug for him. So I have one of his hats and love his videos. He's actually making some videos about changing out the system in his house now. So, that was causing some issues because at times I have 4 calls in a day, and I know there was one day in particular I literally didn't make the company any money. One call was a callback, so I can't charge them people. Another one, was yes, we do, a parts and labor warranty thing. So that's one thing they offered with new equipment was a 10-year parts and labor warranty. So didn't make any money off of that. And then the other two calls,
which that should be the incentive is
well,
the parts
exactly,
and labor warranty, not the
exactly,
free interest that's going to cost us $9,000.
exactly. And then the other two, there was a guy who was like, hey, system's not working. There was actually two that were like, the system's not working. They didn't know what was wrong with it. They knew it was older. And so I'm like, okay. So I got to one. It was a Nick and Jerry will know about these units. It was a 39-year-old Magic Chef condensing unit sitting over top of a 22-year-old Duquesne furnace with a smart gas valve.
Nothing but the finest.
Yeah, so that furnace was so old that it didn't have the low voltage fuse to protect things in case of a low voltage short. And during the midst of landscaping and just age, the thermostat wire had been rubbed down to nothing but bare copper, and they smacked off of each other and stayed there. So it fried, the contactors fried, the transformers fried. There's even some burn marks on the board and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know exactly. Yeah, I didn't start up the heat because I'm like, it's 89 degrees outside. I'm not starting the fucking heat up. I don't care. So there's the potential that smart gas valve and stuff may not even function. And
that's what we call repeat business, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, and those smart gas valves on their own are notorious for fucking failing. They're notorious for it. The new ones are terrific. They've come so much farther than they used to.
They at least put the LED on there so that why the stupid ass thing shut down.
The old ones had the LED on the valve, but they never did anything. They were just there. They let you know the valve had power.
All the old ones that I saw, the LED, they didn't have LEDs.
The Honeywell
then they had
ones,
LEDs.
Yeah, they would be the Honeywell valves from like the late 80s to early 90s. Pretty much the time in which they started fading off because they were mainly the connectors going to the pilots were fucking garbage. Anyway, so
Comfort Maker's the only one that still uses them.
Probably. So I told the guy, I'm like, this unit's 39 years old. The furnace is 22 years old. Showed him the issues that he found. I'm like, I got to run a new thermostat wire. I got to replace the contactor. I got to replace the transformer. We may even have to replace the board. I was like, it's working the blower, but I don't know if it's going to work anything heating wise. I was like, it's already 82 degrees in your house, so I don't think you really want me to turn the heat on. He's like, no, not really. And I'm like, then we got to look at the condenser itself is pretty fucking filthy because those who don't know, it was a slab condenser coil when it pulled air down through the top. And so everything in its mother was caught in it. And then there's the fact of it's R22 and we don't know what the charge situation looks
Returns in the floors?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. If I still had my tablet, I'd be able to have pictures, but I do not. So,
well, you said it was from what was the year on it again?
The furnace was it was about 22 years old or so. So it was like a 2000 maybe. No, I think it was a little bit older than that. 39 years old.
Probably in the floor. That was pretty common for that era.
Back then it was. But so I go over everything with them and I'm like, the cost to just see if it's going to work okay or not is, pretty high. And he's like, I kind of just think I want to replace it. And he was like, kind of thinking like, yeah, I kind of want to go. He's like, I'm not going to go 13 SEER because the warranty's not there. He's like, I would probably go 14, just kind of more middle of the road, still get the good warranty and stuff. I'm like, it's fine. And he was like, just give me a day or so to figure out finances. I'm like, no problem. I'll reach out tomorrow. And so I reach out tomorrow, doesn't answer. I reach out the next week. He's like, oh yeah, everything you said was wrong. And I had my brother come and fix it. So we made zero money and told him everything that was wrong for him to have his brother come fix it. And so we had that. Then the next guy, yeah, the air conditioner's not working that well. Okay. So it's a 1998 Lennox, I think. So again, it's an R22 thing.
Can't get away from those damn things, can you?
Yeah. So I hope the gauge is up, because everything's running. The furnace was, I think, was about 12 to 15 years old on that house. So the furnace, it wasn't brand new, but it was in pretty good shape overall. It looked like that they had that taken care of pretty well. The air conditioner, I mean, overall, it looked like it would have been kept clean and everything like that. So, it wasn't really in bad shape. It was just old. And I hooked gauges up to it. And I mean, I want to say it was either a 5 or 6 pound hold. And my low side pressure was like 15. So I'm like, just to charge it and not do anything else is like astronomical and this and that. And he's like, okay. He's like, let me take some time to think about it. Never call us again. So that you have 4 calls that day, paying the tech for 8 hours, all the fuel, advertisement, everything that goes into it, and made absolutely no money. None. And then we move to, okay, we waive the diagnostic if you decide to go with a repair. Okay, so that helps that. But we did it, like 6 months after, started the free diagnostic, so we lost money on it for 6 months. But okay, so then they were charging for diagnostic, they were just charging straight ahead flat $89. And okay, fine. But then the after hours rate, so now you're paying us overtime after hours. Now we try to mitigate that with a little bit, and it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't. But we helped. Story. Yeah, we helped ourselves and the company at the same time with how we set up our on-call schedule. A little bit, obviously weekends, that's a different story because that's overtime regardless. But the other way we set it up helped out. But the overtime rate was only $149. So most people were doing that, but then we're like, we're not charging that much extra money, but you're paying a shitload of extra money for us to go out there, especially if we spend 2 hours out there,
And when you're going out for people that can't clean drain lines and
you're spending, $80 to $100 just on hourly rate for the employee, given, how long you're out there, but still you're spending $80 to $100 on that alone. So now let's say it was $90. Okay. So now you're down to $59 you're making off of that for going out there. And then you got to factor in the cost of going out there and this and that, the daily operations and everything. So there was nothing being made there either.
Yeah, there's lots of waste, lots of mistakes, and
there was lots of mistakes that were made for people who should have had it figured out by now. Maybe not the people who were put in the positions to run everything, because like our GM was not an HVAC guy, but he had his master's degree and everything, and he was. I will not take anything away from him. He's a really smart guy. He was really good in a lot of areas with numbers. And he was very, very good at receiving feedback and everything, and listening to what people wanted, and acting upon it. I won't take that away from him. I really liked him. He was a really good guy. But I just think there was too much detachment from what was actually going on as far as everybody's concerned. Everybody was guilty of it, and there was a lot of people who worked right next to each other who weren't communicating with each other. But I mean, communication's kind of a big problem everywhere. There's always lack of communication.
Seems that
so
way.
Yeah, so that's not one thing that I'm really going to hold against them. Sometimes it was, frustrating, but I mean, dude, that's everywhere I've ever been in my life has had that. And so, I'm
problem is when you don't have people that can just look at the other person and go, hey, this is really stupid. We need to do something about this because this is not going to work.
That was another thing we were talking about too, is like, people need to kind of step up and like open their mouth too. Not just stand out in the parking lot and bitch about it.
But I want to address this real quick. Going back to the 935 comment, where we were talking about, on call being double time and a half. And we were explaining, leveraging industry and things like that. He replied with, some of the loads in the trailers that he's working on, is $1 million. There's $1 million worth of, swordfish in there, this, that, or anything that needs to be refrigerated. So that's the thing. That's why the on-call rate is what it is, because when you get that guy that calls in, and he's like, well, the trailer's not keeping temperature, and you go, well, check this, check that, oh, I don't want to check all this stuff. It's your job to figure that out. And it's like, well, it's double and a half overtime. So maybe go out there and make sure that the damn thing has diesel in it before you drive all the hell the way up here and waste my time.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of that where people just didn't want to look themselves, and it's like, if I come out here and you were down there doing something near the furnace and flip the switch, you're going to be pissed because I just charged you all this money to come out there and flip a switch.
Yeah.
When I tried to,
because we would get that, like Thanksgiving, you get that call. I don't know, it was working this morning and now it's not working. Is it in the attic? Yeah, it's in the attic. Did you turn off the wrong light switch? I don't know. That's your job to figure. And there was always one customer, and you drove up there, and they told you, "I'm not going to pay you to do that," and blah blah blah. And you're like, "It's not how it works."
Yep.
You wanted to be stupid, and being stupid is going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's a disadvantage to residential, Casey. I mean, you do get it in commercial too, but
I do have a funny residential story about somebody doing something stupid. I was on call one time, and the company that I work for, you didn't have to go out after 9 o'clock. And this guy calls in at like 9:05, right? And I'm like, I'm not going out on this. And I talked to him on the phone. And he's like, you guys, he's like, are you guys still running calls? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, we stopped running calls at 9 o'clock. I'm like, it's like 5 after. I'm like, kind of don't really want to go out. And he's like, you got to help me, man. I'm like, what? He's like, I was changing my thermostat, and this was right when the Nest thermostats came out. And he's like, I was changing my thermostat, and I was going by the instructions, and I did something, and there was a flash of light, and now nothing turns on, and my wife's going to be pissed. She's going to be home. She gets home at like, this time. Can you make it here?
I remember this story.
I was like, and like you can just hear this panic in this guy's voice. I'm like, see what I can do. I'm like, you're probably a good 30, 40 minutes away from me. He's like, I don't care. I'll pay whatever it takes. Just come out here. So I drive up there, and I go under the house and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, the fuse is blown here. I was like, I got a fuse right here in my bag. We'll pop the fuse in, see if that fixes it. So I pop the fuse in, it comes on. I'm just checking a couple of things really quick because if I remember right, it was an old straight air with electric heat furnace on it. So I just took a couple of amp readings real quick, make sure that the electric heaters come on. And I hear the wife come home upstairs, and I can hear them talking back and forth, and I can't hear really what they're saying through the floor, but all of a sudden I hear her just screaming at him, like just calling him every name in the book. You fucking idiot. I told you leave that stupid thermostat alone. You were going to break something, blah, 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 all this stuff. And like, I'm doing everything I can under the house just not to laugh at this dude because it was just so funny. I crawled out of the house and I go inside and I told the guy, I was like, yeah, it's fixed. I was like, you just blew the fuse. That's all it was. And he's like, what do I owe you? I'm like, man, just pay me for the diagnostic for coming out. It was just a fuse. And he was like, no, I'll pay you. I'm like, man, honestly, I just feel bad for you. But he tipped me like $20 for coming out, so I was like, whatever, it works for me.
I did have a good customer. I think I remember telling you about this shop where the condenser was on the roof of a house, but it was like it was like a 25 foot, it was like 25 feet up to the roof line. And
that wasn't the restaurant, was it?
No, that's a different story. Yeah. This was just a big house. You know, houses around here. That house was like I think he said it was 1850 or something like that. And back then, houses were fucking massive. You know, they were tall. They 12-foot ceilings, and so this thing's sitting on the fucking top of it's sitting up on the roof, so that's 2 floors there, and then it served the 3rd floor that was added on later. So we got up there and kind of told him what was going on, and he's like, I really don't want to dump money into that damn thing. He's like, it's been so unreliable and stuff like that. Now it's got a leak in it that's going to be a persistent problem. He's like, you think you guys could replace that unit? I was like, I'll see what options we can give you. I was like, I doubt we're going to be able to replace the condenser because I have no idea how the hell they got it up there, because the driveway is too small to get a crane in there. We don't have any lifts, those little crank lifts tall enough to reach that high. I was like, I don't know how the hell they got it up there, honestly. I was like, so, we'll see what we can do. So he paid the $89 diagnostic fee.
Probably used a lull or something.
Yeah. And there was 2 of us there just because of the ladder. And so, holding the ladder. So one guy, because we had to set the ladder up on the sloped slate roof, climb up, and then get off over the box gutters onto the rubber roof on the right side of you. And there was nothing to tie the ladder off to, so somebody had to hold it. And so he paid the $89 diagnostic, and he hands me some money, and he says, here, I know this was a difficult job. He's like, this is for you guys, get something to eat, whatever. I'm like, all right, thank you. I get back to the truck, and there was 420s there. He handed us $80. And, so we got $40 a piece for it. So I'm like, days like that, you're like, that makes everything a lot better. Customers that do appreciate stuff, but for every customer that's that happy, there's probably 2 that are assholes.
Yeah, at least.
Especially in a situation in which we were in, we're trying to build business, so we're pretty much just taking everything that comes in. Yeah. Hence that restaurant story.
We'll have to save that one for another day. Because I think we got to call this, buddy.
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, we have social media stuff that's all in the description of this video. Bye-bye. You can't really contact any of us because, none of us are on it. So I guess you'll just have to hold all your questions till the next show. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye-bye.